They told you vegetables are always healthy, that you can fill your plate with any green or colorful produce and your body will simply thank you for it. But what the marketing campaigns and oversimplified nutrition advice rarely mention is that some vegetables can cause discomfort, trigger inflammation, or interfere with nutrient absorption, especially as you age past 60. The vegetable industry operates on profit margins and market demand, not necessarily on personalized health guidance. And once you understand which commonly praised vegetables may not serve your body well after a certain age, you begin to see your dietary choices through a clearer lens. This is not about creating fear around food. It is about understanding science and individual response patterns. We are discussing compounds like solanine, lectins, and oxalates. These substances occur naturally in many plant foods. For some people, they pass through the system without issue. For others, particularly those over 60 whose inflammatory responses and digestive efficiency have changed, these compounds can create real problems. But the situation is not entirely challenging. There are vegetables, often overlooked in favor of trendier options, that can support muscle maintenance, reduce systemic inflammation, and genuinely contribute to vitality if you include them thoughtfully in your meals. In this exploration, we will examine 4 vegetables that may warrant caution, and 4 that deserve a prominent place in your diet after 60, ranked from least to most beneficial. The second vegetable on our beneficial list has been shown in research to significantly reduce disease markers in older adults within just a few months. Every reference point comes from peer-reviewed research, available for your own investigation. Now, let us begin with the 4th entry on our caution list. Eggplant appears entirely harmless. It has a soft texture, mild flavor, and often receives praise as a heart-friendly vegetable in Mediterranean cuisine. But if you are over 60 and experiencing arthritis, persistent joint stiffness, or muscle aches without clear cause, eggplant could be contributing to your discomfort. This vegetable belongs to the nightshade family, which also includes tomatoes, peppers, and potatoes. These plants contain a natural alkaloid called solanine. In individuals with sensitivity, solanine can irritate nerve endings and promote inflammatory responses in joint tissues. A review published in the Journal of Inflammation Research in 2020 found that eliminating nightshade vegetables from the diet reduced pain scores in certain arthritis patients by up to 35% within 1 month. The important detail here is that nightshade sensitivity often becomes more pronounced with age. Your body's capacity to manage low-grade inflammation diminishes over time, meaning the irritation lingers longer and accumulates more noticeably. Consider the experience of Helen, 74 years old. She enjoyed grilled eggplant twice weekly as part of her Mediterranean-style eating pattern. Yet she could not understand why her knees felt swollen and uncomfortable after dinner, particularly in the evening hours. When her granddaughter suggested removing eggplant from her meals for 1 month, the result was notable. Within 3 weeks, Helen found she could walk greater distances without discomfort, and her morning stiffness had substantially decreased. She was not cured of her underlying condition, but her inflammation dropped enough to make daily activities more manageable. If you are a senior dealing with joint concerns, consider testing yourself. Remove eggplant and other nightshades for 3 weeks, then reintroduce them individually. If your pain returns or intensifies, you have identified a potential trigger. And if you discover you are not sensitive, eggplant can remain in your rotation. But choose roasting or grilling methods instead of frying, since fried preparations add oils that can burden cardiovascular health, something no senior needs. The next vegetable presents an even more subtle challenge because it appears in your kitchen in forms you would consider entirely wholesome. Cucumbers are marketed as the quintessential refreshing, low-calorie snack. You see them in spa water, summer salads, and detox recipes across social media. But here is the aspect rarely discussed in mainstream nutrition advice. For many seniors, cucumbers can quietly interfere with digestion and nutrient absorption. Cucumbers contain high levels of insoluble fiber and certain plant compounds called cucurbitacins. While insoluble fiber supports digestive health in moderation, in older adults with naturally slower gut motility, it can move food through the intestines too rapidly. This prevents complete absorption of essential nutrients like calcium, magnesium, and vitamin B12. The cucurbitacins are natural plant defense compounds that can cause bloating, stomach cramping, and even diarrhea in sensitive digestive systems. A study published in the journal Nutrients in 2019 found that older adults with compromised digestion were up to 40% more likely to experience discomfort when consuming raw cucumbers compared to other raw vegetables. Consider Paul, 69 years old. He replaced his evening chips with raw cucumber slices, believing this was the smartest snack decision he could make for his health. But soon he noticed his stomach felt tight and gassy after dinner, and his daytime energy began declining. His physician suspected malabsorption and recommended cooking his vegetables rather than eating them raw. When Paul switched from raw cucumbers to lightly steamed zucchini and carrots, his bloating vanished and he felt more satisfied after meals. If you enjoy cucumbers and want to continue eating them, there is a more suitable approach. Remove the skin, which contains most of the cucurbitacins, and avoid pairing cucumbers with heavy proteins during evening hours when digestion naturally slows. Seniors with acid reflux or particularly sensitive digestion should limit cucumber consumption altogether, especially in raw form, to maintain optimal gut function. And if you consider cucumbers somewhat problematic, the next vegetable presents an even greater concern because it masquerades as a healthy staple in nearly every senior household. Corn has been a dietary staple across cultures for centuries, but for seniors, it can quietly create metabolic challenges that accumulate over time. Despite its wholesome image as a vegetable, corn is actually a starchy grain that digests rapidly into glucose. This means it can cause significant spikes in blood sugar, which poses particular risks for anyone over 60, especially those managing insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes. According to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2020, older adults who consumed high glycemic foods like corn more than 3 times weekly had a 28% higher risk of developing prediabetic markers compared to those who limited their intake. The concerns extend beyond blood sugar management. Corn also contains high levels of phytates, compounds that bind to essential minerals like iron, zinc, and magnesium, making them more difficult for your body to absorb. This presents a significant issue for seniors because low magnesium levels can contribute to muscle weakness and cramping, while insufficient zinc can slow wound healing and compromise immune function. Additionally, much of the corn available in markets today has been genetically modified and heavily treated with pesticides, adding another layer of burden to the liver and kidneys, organs that naturally become less efficient at filtering toxins as we age. Consider Eleanor, 72 years old. She loved fresh corn on the cob during summer months and enjoyed popcorn during her evening television programs. But gradually, her blood sugar levels crept upward. Her knees began aching more frequently, and her physician discovered she was deficient in magnesium despite maintaining what she considered a healthy diet. When she reduced her corn consumption and switched her snacks to roasted chickpeas and steamed green beans, her energy returned and her blood sugar dropped by nearly 15 points within 2 months. If you still want to enjoy corn occasionally, treat it as an occasional food rather than a daily vegetable. And never combine it with other high-carbohydrate foods like white bread, pasta, or rice. Doing so only amplifies the blood sugar spike and the subsequent inflammatory response. Spacing corn away from other starches and pairing it with protein and fiber-rich foods can moderate its glycemic impact. But the next vegetable presents perhaps the most surprising challenge because it represents the most trusted, seemingly heart-healthy choice that can actually work against seniors. Potatoes may well be the ultimate comfort food, prepared mashed, baked, roasted, or fried across countless cuisines. But for seniors, they can be one of the most deceptively problematic vegetables on the plate. The primary concern lies in their extremely high glycemic index, which means they convert to sugar in your bloodstream faster than table sugar itself. Research from Harvard found that older adults who consumed potatoes or potato-based products more than 4 times weekly had a 33% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. That risk doubled when those potatoes were fried. The problems extend beyond blood sugar regulation. When potatoes are cooked at high temperatures, particularly through frying or high-heat baking, they produce acrylamide, a chemical compound that has been linked to nerve damage and increased cancer risk in animal studies. Because potatoes are often served without adequate fiber or protein to slow their digestion, they trigger substantial insulin surges that can promote inflammation throughout the body. This systemic inflammation accelerates joint pain, contributes to weight gain around the midsection, and may even contribute to cognitive decline over time. Think about Harold, 69 years old. He believed his nightly baked potato was a harmless choice. After all, it was not fried, and he topped it with only a small amount of butter. But over several years, his waistline expanded. His energy levels plummeted, and his laboratory results began showing prediabetic markers. His physician explained that even without adding sugar, his body was responding to potatoes much like it would to candy. When Harold replaced his potato side dish with steamed broccoli drizzled with olive oil, he noticed his knees ached less frequently. His afternoon energy crashes disappeared, and his blood sugar finally stabilized. If you are over 60 and enjoy potatoes, the safest approach is to consume them rarely and in small portions. Always balance them with adequate protein and fiber-rich foods. Even better, consider replacing them with lower carbohydrate alternatives like cauliflower or zucchini. You will still achieve the comfort and satisfaction without the metabolic consequences. But now that we have covered 4 vegetables that warrant caution, it is time to shift our focus entirely. Because the next 4 vegetables do not simply avoid causing problems. They can actively support rebuilding strength, protecting cardiovascular health, and maintaining cognitive sharpness well into your 80s. Red bell peppers are far more than colorful additions to your meals. They represent one of the most powerful anti-aging vegetables you can include on your plate after 60. They contain exceptionally high levels of vitamin C, which your body requires to produce collagen, the structural protein that maintains skin firmness, cushions your joints, and keeps blood vessels flexible. In fact, red bell peppers contain 3 times more vitamin C than an orange per serving, delivering a collagen-boosting benefit without the sugar content found in fruit. They also contain a unique antioxidant called capsanthin, which gives them their deep red color and has been shown in research to lower LDL cholesterol levels and protect brain cells from oxidative stress. Consider Lorraine, 72 years old. She never gave much thought to peppers until her daughter convinced her to add half a raw red bell pepper to her daily lunch salad. 6 months later, she was genuinely surprised when her skin appeared smoother. Her knees felt less stiff, and her physician reported that her blood pressure had improved. The simple addition had reduced inflammation and strengthened her connective tissues in ways she could feel throughout daily activities. For seniors, the optimal way to obtain these benefits is to consume red bell peppers raw or lightly sautéed to preserve the vitamin C content. Pair them with a healthy fat like olive oil or avocado to enhance your body's absorption of the carotenoids. Not only will you add vibrant color and crisp texture to your meals, but you will also be providing your body with nutrients it needs to maintain strength and vitality. But as powerful as red bell peppers prove to be, the next vegetable brings something even more essential for maintaining cardiovascular health and circulation. Broccoli is not simply a healthy vegetable. It stands among the most powerful anti-disease foods available on the planet, especially for anyone over 60. Packed with vitamin K, vitamin C, folate, and fiber, it also contains sulforaphane, a natural compound proven in multiple research studies to activate your body's detoxification enzymes and even support DNA repair mechanisms. Researchers from Johns Hopkins University found that sulforaphane can reduce inflammation markers by up to 73% in just a few weeks, which represents a significant benefit for seniors managing joint pain, arterial stiffness, or slow recovery times. Consider Howard, 69 years old. He thought broccoli was bland and only consumed it when it appeared as a side dish at restaurants. But after experiencing a mild stroke, his physician strongly recommended he eat it 3 times weekly. Howard began steaming it lightly and adding a squeeze of lemon for flavor. Within 2 months, his blood pressure decreased, his digestion improved, and he noticed more energy during morning hours. What he did not initially realize was that broccoli was also helping maintain clear arteries by reducing oxidative damage, something no pharmaceutical intervention had accomplished for him before. For maximum benefit, broccoli should be lightly steamed or sautéed for no more than 5 minutes. Overcooking destroys the sulforaphane content, so keeping it crisp tender preserves its therapeutic properties. Pair it with a small amount of healthy fat like avocado or olive oil to enhance nutrient absorption. This single vegetable can quietly protect your heart, brain, and skeletal system while keeping your immune response sharp. But as remarkable as broccoli proves to be, the next vegetable on our list can address both inflammation and muscle loss simultaneously. Spinach is far more than a simple salad green. For seniors, it represents a nutritional powerhouse, bursting with magnesium, iron, vitamin K, lutein, and nitrates that directly improve blood flow to muscles and brain tissue. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2019 found that older adults who consumed nitrate-rich vegetables like spinach demonstrated 11% stronger leg strength and significantly better walking speed after just 12 weeks. That kind of difference can genuinely determine whether you maintain independent mobility or require assistance with daily activities. Think about Clara, 72 years old. She was beginning to forget names, misplace household items, and feel her legs weakening during routine activities. Her grandson convinced her to add 1 cup of fresh spinach to her morning omelet 3 times each week. Within 1 month, she noticed she could climb her porch steps without pausing to rest, and her memory lapses became less frequent. The nitrates in spinach had improved her circulation, delivering more oxygen to both her muscles and her brain, while the lutein was protecting her eyes from age-related macular degeneration. For optimal results, consume spinach both raw and lightly cooked. Raw spinach works perfectly in salads or smoothies, but lightly steaming it for just 2 to 3 minutes actually unlocks additional antioxidants while preserving the vitamin C content. Pair it with a protein-rich food or healthy fat to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins more effectively. The iron in spinach also absorbs better when consumed with vitamin C, so adding lemon juice or tomatoes creates a synergistic effect. And while spinach serves as a true champion for aging bodies, our number 1 vegetable possesses a remarkable ability to support cellular repair and slow aging at the genetic level, something even spinach cannot accomplish. Kale is not merely a trendy superfood. For seniors, it represents one of the most powerful tools available against aging and physical decline. This leafy green contains abundant vitamin K, vitamin C, calcium, lutein, and plant compounds that actively stimulate your body's repair systems. A study published in Frontiers in Aging in 2021 found that older adults who regularly consumed cruciferous vegetables like kale had up to 33% lower rates of frailty and demonstrated better mobility scores compared to those who consumed little or none. This occurs because kale's antioxidants reduce inflammation at the cellular level, while its vitamin K supports bone density, and its plant nitrates maintain flexible blood vessels and optimal oxygen delivery. Consider Frank, 69 years old. He had been feeling constantly fatigued, struggling with sore knees, and worrying about his family history of cardiovascular disease. His physician suggested incorporating kale into his diet 3 times weekly. He started adding it to soups, stir-fries, and even morning smoothies. Within 6 weeks, Frank noticed he could walk farther without pain. His blood pressure decreased, and his laboratory work showed an increase in HDL, the protective cholesterol. The transformation came from kale's unique combination of anti-inflammatory compounds and micronutrients that no multivitamin supplement could replicate. For maximum benefits, lightly steam or sauté kale to make it easier to digest and enhance absorption. Add a squeeze of lemon or drizzle of olive oil for better nutrient uptake. If consuming it raw, massage the leaves with a small amount of olive oil to soften the texture and reduce any bitterness. The vitamin K in kale is fat-soluble, meaning it absorbs best when consumed with dietary fats. If you have been avoiding kale because it seems too fibrous or bitter, think of it as a natural prescription, one that could maintain strong bones, clear arteries, and functioning muscles well into your 80s. The preparation method matters significantly for all these beneficial vegetables. Overcooking destroys heat-sensitive nutrients like vitamin C and sulforaphane. Undercooking tough greens like kale can make them difficult to digest for older digestive systems. The ideal approach involves brief cooking times at moderate temperatures, preserving nutrients while making the vegetables palatable and digestible. Steaming for 3 to 5 minutes typically achieves this balance. Sautéing in a small amount of olive oil for a similar duration works equally well and adds beneficial fats. Timing also influences how well your body utilizes these vegetables. Consuming them with your largest meal of the day, typically lunch or early dinner, allows your digestive system to process them when it functions most efficiently. Pairing them with lean proteins helps stabilize blood sugar and provides amino acids necessary for tissue repair. Adding a source of healthy fat, whether olive oil, avocado, nuts, or seeds, dramatically increases the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Individual responses vary considerably. What works exceptionally well for one person may not suit another due to genetic differences, existing health conditions, medication interactions, or unique sensitivities. The vegetables that cause problems for some individuals create no issues whatsoever for others. This is why self-observation becomes so valuable after 60. Pay attention to how your body responds in the hours and days following meals. Notice patterns between what you eat and how you feel. Energy levels, joint comfort, digestive ease, sleep quality, and mental clarity all provide feedback about whether particular foods serve you well. Testing foods systematically gives you clear information. Remove a suspected problem vegetable for 3 weeks, then reintroduce it and observe what happens. If symptoms return within a few days, you have identified a personal trigger. If nothing changes, that food likely suits your body fine. This elimination and reintroduction method works far better than guessing or following generic advice that may not apply to your unique physiology. Keep notes about what you eat and how you feel. Patterns emerge more clearly when you track them over several weeks. Preparation techniques can transform a problematic vegetable into a tolerable one. Peeling cucumbers removes most of the cucurbitacins that cause digestive distress. Cooking nightshades like eggplant breaks down some of the solanine that triggers joint inflammation in sensitive individuals. Soaking or sprouting reduces phytates in corn and other grains. Even small preparation adjustments can make significant differences in how your body handles certain foods. You do not always need to eliminate foods entirely. Sometimes you simply need to prepare them differently. Portion sizes matter more as you age. A small serving of potato with plenty of protein and vegetables may not spike your blood sugar significantly. A large portion of potato as the main component of your meal almost certainly will. The same principle applies to corn and other higher glycemic vegetables. When you do choose to eat them, treat them as minor accompaniments rather than centerpieces. Fill most of your plate with the beneficial vegetables we have discussed, and reserve only a small corner for those that require caution. Medication interactions deserve consideration as well. If you take blood thinners, the high vitamin K content in kale and spinach requires consistent intake rather than sporadic consumption, since vitamin K affects blood clotting. Your physician needs to know about significant dietary changes so medication dosages can be adjusted appropriately. Some blood pressure medications interact with the nitrates in leafy greens. Some diabetes medications require coordination with carbohydrate intake. These interactions do not mean you cannot eat these vegetables. They simply mean you need professional guidance to do so safely. Supplements cannot replace whole vegetables. While you can purchase vitamin C pills, sulforaphane capsules, or nitrate supplements, they lack the fiber, water content, and synergistic compounds found in whole foods. Your body evolved to obtain nutrients from food, not isolated compounds. The beneficial vegetables we have discussed provide packages of nutrition that work together in ways science is still discovering. A pill containing one extracted compound cannot replicate what a serving of broccoli or kale provides. Focus on food first, and use supplements only to address specific deficiencies identified through laboratory testing. Building new eating patterns takes time and patience. If you have eaten potatoes daily for decades, switching to cauliflower or broccoli requires adjustment. Your taste preferences, cooking skills, shopping habits, and meal planning all need to evolve. Start with one change at a time rather than overhauling everything simultaneously. Replace one problem vegetable this week. Add one beneficial vegetable next week. Small, sustainable changes compound into significant transformations over months and years. Attempting too much too quickly usually leads to abandoning the effort entirely. Social and cultural factors influence food choices as well. Traditional family recipes may feature the vegetables we have suggested limiting. Holiday meals and social gatherings often center around foods that may not serve your health goals. You can navigate these situations by contributing dishes featuring beneficial vegetables, eating smaller portions of problematic ones, or simply accepting that occasional exceptions will not derail your overall progress. Rigid perfection is neither necessary nor realistic. Consistent good choices most of the time produce excellent results. Budget considerations affect vegetable selection for many seniors on fixed incomes. Fresh organic kale and bell peppers cost more than potatoes and corn. But frozen vegetables retain most of their nutrients and cost significantly less than fresh. Buying vegetables in season reduces costs substantially. Growing a small container garden with leafy greens provides fresh produce for minimal investment. Community-supported agriculture programs and senior discount days at farmers markets offer additional savings. Prioritizing your health through food choices represents an investment that reduces future medical expenses. Food preparation abilities change with age. Arthritis can make chopping vegetables difficult. Vision changes affect cooking safety. Reduced appetite may mean you eat less overall. These challenges require creative solutions rather than surrender. Pre-cut vegetables save effort even if they cost slightly more. Simple preparation methods like steaming require less skill than complex recipes. Eating smaller amounts of nutrient-dense vegetables provides more benefit than larger amounts of less beneficial ones. Adapt your approach to match your current abilities while maintaining nutritional quality. The evidence supporting these dietary approaches comes from both large population studies and controlled clinical trials. Researchers have followed thousands of older adults for decades, tracking their food intake and health outcomes. The patterns are clear and consistent. Those who consume more cruciferous vegetables, leafy greens, and colorful produce maintain better physical function, experience less chronic disease, and live longer with higher quality of life. Those who rely heavily on starchy, high glycemic vegetables face greater risks of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and functional decline. This is not speculation or theory. It is documented scientific observation. Your current health status matters less than the direction you move from this point forward. Even if you have diabetes, arthritis, or cardiovascular disease, adding beneficial vegetables and reducing problematic ones can improve your condition. Studies show that dietary changes produce measurable benefits within weeks to months, regardless of starting point. Your body retains remarkable capacity to heal and strengthen when provided proper nutrition, even after years of less optimal eating. It is never too late to make changes that matter. The goal is not perfection but progress. Not eliminating every potentially problematic food but making informed choices most of the time. Not following rigid rules but understanding principles and applying them to your unique situation. You are not trying to live forever. You are trying to live well for whatever time remains, with energy, mobility, clarity, and independence. The vegetables you choose play a significant role in determining whether you achieve that goal. Each meal represents an opportunity to nourish or neglect your aging body. Choose wisely, eat well, and give yourself the best possible chance for vital years ahead.